It is wonderful to be here. I'll tell you that music was incredible. You have so many talented musicians here. It was really a joy. I'm sure the courts of heaven are ringing with your music as you raise it up to God. It's such a tremendous act of worship and praise. It's really beautiful. All right, today we are talking about, am I plugged in correctly here? There we go. When the waters rose, and we're talking about Noah's flood. And we'll be taking it from a little bit different angle, maybe, than you're used to. We're not going to talk so much about, we don't have Noah's Ark to talk about that in an archaeological way. To give you a short hypothesis rundown on that one, if you imagine that Noah and his family have landed on a world, on a mountain, in a world that has been devastated by a global flood, there's not going to be a lot of mature wood and trees around, yet they obviously had carpentry skills. So the archaeological hypothesis, at least that I've discussed with my colleagues and whatnot, is that they probably dismantled the ark, to be honest, and reused that wood to build their houses and whatever structures they needed. That would be the most logical conclusion, but who knows? We have yet to actually locate Noah's Ark. But what we're going to talk about today is the flood story in different cultures and how it's remembered. But before we do that, I kind of want to orient you on the map, so you know where we're talking about. So last night, we were talking about some of the archaeological sites that were down here in this part of Turkey, in southeastern Turkey. And there are two traditional locations for Mount Ararat. Unfortunately, the Bible doesn't say Mount Ararat. It actually says the mountains of Ararat, which is a region. And so it doesn't give us a specific location, but rather a mountain range. It's like, how do you call what's the close range here or something? You have the different, no, I know the Rocky Mountains, but I mean, you have the different ranges in the mountains, is what I meant, yeah. Yes, so you have the front range, and then, you have different areas of the mountains. And when you're from the area, they're familiar to you, right? And so it was the same in the days that these stories were recorded. The Mount Ararat that's listed here, this is just an image from Google Maps, Google Earth, right? I just grabbed this and clipped it here for you to see. So clearly Google goes with the mountain that is called in Turkish Agri and in Agri rather. I think I have a picture of it here for you. I'll go to in just a minute. I want you to see Mount Kudi or Mount Judy first. And the other location is at Mount Judy. And long story short, because we're short on time, the Mount Ararat location does have more historical evidence supporting it, whereas the Mount Judy location is probably secondary, I would say. We don't know for sure, but I would prefer the Mount Ararat location based on the evidence that I've studied for what that's worth. And if you want more information on it, let me know afterwards. I'd be happy to forward you some articles that are really interesting on the topic. But here is Agri. There we go. And it's actually a double mountain. It's almost 17,000 feet tall, which is about 6,000 feet taller than any other mountain around in the area. And its Turkish name means mountain of pain, which is not very uplifting, Agri. Its Armenian name is Masis, and that just means twin. So that one's a little bit nicer anyway, rather than mountain of pain. But it's a very beautiful mountain, as you can see. And we're going to talk a little bit about the myths, like I said, around the flood in other cultures, and what we can learn by comparing those myths to the biblical account. That's just sort of to give you an idea of where we're heading.